Hi, how are you? How's everyone doing out there? We want to start with a little bit of a PSA. Although COVID 19 spreads mostly via the mouth and nose, scientists now conclude that the greatest risk comes from assholes. So you have to
Woo!
ask yourself, are you an asshole? Do you not want to be an asshole anymore? Well, let's think about it. What does it take to be an asshole? Well, there's only three things. Are you wearing a mask? Are you going outside? Are you vaccinated? If the answer, well, let me put it this way. Are you wearing a mask? Are you staying inside? And are you vaccinated? If the answer to all of those questions is no, you might be an asshole. And this is easy cure to this. And no. The cure is not necessarily the vaccine because we understand that if you are doing all three of those things, you might actually think that the vaccine will cause cancer or give you some sort of 5G traceability, or maybe just turn you into a frog. We don't want you to go through those things. You don't have to worry about that. But all you have to do to not be an asshole is negate one of those three things. Don't go outside. Put on a mask. Or if you're feeling really brave, take the vaccine. Answer yes to any one of those three things, and you can immediately stop being an asshole and stop helping to spread COVID 19. Thank you for coming to my painfully obvious talk.
I should probably say that if you stop having an asshole, you might get IBS, but or an impaction, or thank you, Mark Stepney. Mask holes. I'm with you on that one. I'm 100% with you on that one. Hello, Sharpies. Hello, Sharpies.
Hey, y'all, hey.
Hey, y'all, hey. This has been a real week for COVID news. We about to get into it. We have a lot. Oh, you know what we didn't do? And this is something that we absolutely need to do in order for you all to understand the vibe that we are doing tonight. So hit it.
Yeah, you know what time it is. Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpened Steel after dark.
You know, I have to agree with our friend Anthony Turner. It has been a week. You want to know what kind of week it's been? It's been this kind of week. Okay, like
Now that's a calabash of wine right there.
Right. This is Olivia Pope level wine.
I know that's right. This week has been a month. That's what's kind of week. It's a once.
It's a one. I'm so tired. I'm tired. Like I can't even spell the whole word anymore. Tired.
Well, I don't know about you all. There's a lot of different things that we are going to be talking about today, but there's so much. Here's a rundown, just that y'all can understand. There's stuff like Jeopardy stuff. So much Jeopardy stuff. After we had just gone through a month and a half of Jeopardy stuff, we got more Jeopardy stuff. We've got a lot of Afghan stuff. We've got some Trump scandal stuff. We've got some Texas
nonsense.
Abbott is a mask hole stuff. We got
celebrities not washing their ass.
Oh man, dusty 6F celebrities.
And we got more and more.
Dusty. And of course, COVID stuff, and a sprinkle of OnlyFans. How about you now? A scotch. It's a scotch of OnlyFans in the show today. Just a scotch.
Right. We're talking about We're talking about anything and everything. And if we miss something and you want to talk about it, put it in the chat. We will talk about that too, because there's been so many things. Exactly. Next week is already exhausting. There's been so many things that I don't even know if we even caught it all. We've been chatting with each other all week, like, did you see this? Oh my God, did you see this? I can't believe how you didn't last a week. Oh my, see, this is what they get like all week. And we don't even know if we caught it all. So
it was a lot.
Yes.
It was a lot. So what are we kicking off with, Joy?
You know what?
Get us started.
I want to start off, I want to start off in a somewhat educational way. Okay. I want to start off. We'll continue on, if you will, from last week. Last week we were talking about my summer plans and the Delta variant. So one of the last things we did last week was talk about my fall plans and the Delta variant. And it just so happens that the one on the right got himself smooth fired this week behind some embarrassing comments that he used to make on his other show from, like, he said nearly a decade ago, but it's more like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
He says, looking back now. Exactly. Right. You're trying to round up from 5.1. But looking back now, there's no excuse, of course, for the comments I made on this podcast. And I am deeply sorry. And so Mike Richards is now out. And Jeff, and I was like, that's what you get, because LaVar was right. He was right there. You had it and you let it go. But before we talk about it, I just want to give a shout out to dictionary.com, because this is what they tweeted today. Jeopardy is a noun meaning peril or danger. Here it is in a sentence. My job is in jeopardy because of my past comments.
Oh, if only every commentator at Fox News, starting with Tucker Carlson, could have that same challenge. But it's only if you're trying to be a game show host. And can we talk about the fact that how scandalous is you if you are the executive producer of the show, putting your thumb on the scale to pay yourself to be talent? That's first of all. How you
get fired and you the boss?
And you the boss. How you get fired from yourself? Right. Mike Richards. And actually, it's an unfortunate name to start with, because that Michael Richards from Seinfeld also had some tremendously unfortunate circumstances following his departure from that esteemed show. And he ain't got a job no more at all. Like, Mike Richards just went on a crazy.
Off the air.
I mean, when he was in that comedy club dropping N-words like it was hot, all of a sudden he became nuclear. Ain't nobody trying to church him. Mm-mm. And meanwhile, girlfriend Elaine Bennis is living her best life.
Right? What's her name? Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, she's a billionaire heiress. So she started off on Home Plate, coming into Home Plate.
But then, she had here on her own. Yep.
Yep. Then she became the star of this amazing sitcom. And then she got another sitcom after that. And then she got the HBO series Veep and won all the Emmys. And now she's in the MCU.
Yo,
Jerry Seinfeld ain't never gonna be in the MCU.
He don't want to be. Jerry Seinfeld is chilling.
Jerry Seinfeld
he's around in the car getting coffee with comedians or whatever he's doing. He don't need to work.
He does not.
But don't forget Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She was on Saturday Night Live for quite a stint as well.
She was.
Yeah, she got her career.
No, she had it.
Right, but Mike Richards, what I saw with him is the same thing I see day in, day out in corporate. You got somebody who they've already slated for the job. And then they do this round of bogus interviews, right? Knowing good and goddamn well who they're going to get a job to. And even though they have a string of qualified people, men and women and minorities come through, they're like, yes. Oh, it's just something not quite right. Next time, you were such a good candidate. However, we just didn't feel it was a good fit. Knowing good and well they was going to give it to this dude the whole time. And then they do. And then that dude just, as some of my friends want to say in the military, just shits the bed.
Oh,
and he's just rolling in it at this point.
All over the bed.
Right.
And easily avoidable. Chuck, the Sharpies need you to weigh in, bro. They're accusing you of being the dude on Speed who just had the Wildcat footage just kind of going in a loop.
No, y'all got the double dutch going, you and Joy, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out like how to get into the groove. But
Okay, we'll get into the groove, man. You're a Jeopardy fan. You're a trivia show fan. First of all, let me just say, as much as I was anticipating LaRue Burton, and I want you to win in this, Chuck, he didn't kill it to me.
Right.
Now, he didn't have the best contestants in the universe.
Right.
But it wasn't like an undeniable performance. And no. Yes, Cecily, that's mediocre. So, Chuck, you've blogged about this in terms of your legal battles against mediocrity in 6F Hood. So, why don't you lay it down for the peoples?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, but the funny thing about it is, having been around quiz shows like Jeopardy for a long time, you and I both, Tom, have played. We've moderated. For those who don't understand what moderation is, when we do the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge, that's essentially Tom and I and several of our other friends. We read the questions and we ask questions. Yep. Yeah, no doubt. And so, we come at it from a perspective of, okay, we've seen it so much over the last 30, 40 years. And so, yeah, some people were like, yeah, some people. But at the end of the day, the difference is that with LaRue, it is an audition. I thought that, like Tom said, it wasn't a kill it, but also you don't have to, mediocre white guys don't have to kill it right out the gate to continue to do what they wanted to do. And I have no doubt that an actor as brilliant as Burton, a man who has a very clear voice, just wonderful in every way, shape, and form when it comes to this type of format, he would have been able to kill it in time, and he still may be able to, depending on what direction they go in. I saw a comment on another one of our Quiz Bowl moderator friends' page earlier today. Jada B was talking, and we were tripping on that. We were nerding out. Tom, I don't know if you came onto that post a little later, but Jada went all the way there. She was like, she made a comment, y'all need to quit making LaRue Burton the affirmative action Jeopardy candidate. And I almost choked on what I was drinking when I read that, because it was funny. But at the same time, LaRue would have been able to get there. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. At the end of the day, I saw where there was another article I posted today that Laura Coates had been someone that Alex Trebek had endorsed.
Yeah, that was Alex's pick.
Yeah, and so obviously he doesn't have a pick now, but you have to think: is there really a problem that some, as Tom likes to say, 6Fs have with Black people or a Black host being the arbiter of the answers? Because one of my other friends got real semantic on us, saying, "Well, actually, he gives the answers and." You do it in the form of, yeah, we get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, exactly.
But
running the show,
right? But at the end of the day, I thought that was a profound comment that I saw, which is that there are some whites who don't necessarily want to see one of us at the top of the food chain on what has for decades been considered like the top intellectual type of quiz show. There have been all sorts of other shows that have come along since, but Jeopardy is the top dog on the block. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Very similar to you all. I don't know if our Sharpies have watched that show with Peyton Manning and his brother Cooper Manning and what have you. And, just as a longtime devotee of this art, I have not been impressed with Peyton Manning. I have said Tom will be modest here, but I'm like, Tom, you'd have done a much better job as the host of that show. But I get it. It's the Mannings, it's the name brand and all that type of stuff. But hardcore nerds just want the questions asked and answered, and they don't care about all of the whatever. And I think that it's an unfortunate situation that this young guy, like you say, put his finger on the scale and weighed it for himself. And knowing that those comments were out there too, that's the thing. That's the caucasity of it all. Knowing
that's the hubris.
Right. It's whoa. Where they do that at? So it's
everywhere. They do that everywhere.
Well, the thing that I think also kind of hurt LaRue is that if you have been literally tweeting and talking about this being your dream job for 8 years, you damn sure better have been Rupert Pupkining in your basement and just getting it right. You needed to have been honing that craft. So yes, I agree. Being on set is different, but he's a professional actor. So you Geordie LaForge for 9 years or whatever, you should know if you were going to replace Alex Trebek, you need to be tight when you come on, just because you've been talking trash. Nobody else, you know, everybody thought Ken Jennings has to be there because Ken Jennings was the champion, and Ken Jennings is now on The Chase, and Ken Jennings, and he runs his own online trivia thing that he's been doing for years and years and years. Basically, ever since he came to prominence on Jeopardy, he has a weekly trivia thing. And so it would make sense, but that's an obvious person. And of course, Laura Coates as the heir apparent that was handpicked by Alex, that's an obvious person. And even Mike Richards, it's not like that's a crazy pick. He is the executive producer, so he certainly knows the show. That's not even an issue. But if it had been somebody that nobody knew, like Dr. Oz, now Dr. Oz was trash, but he was in there as a celebrity pick, but he hadn't been shadow auditioning for the job for 10 years either. So and look, LaRue Burton, from Reading Rainbow, well, from Kunta Kinte to Reading Rainbow to Geordie LaForge to this new podcast that you have where you read, your voice is bomb, dude. You've got this real even, silky smooth, you know, all of that. That works. That works for real. But running a show, running a game is a unique talent. It's just like people talked about the Chris Rock show on HBO. Chris Rock is not an interviewer.
Yeah.
He has some funny stand-up.
Yeah.
And he is a comedian, but that does not make you an interviewer. You have to, it's a different set of skills, and running a game has a different set of skills than just being talented, just being having a beautiful voice, all of those things. You do need to know how to run the game. And that includes being able to riff the same way that Alex did. I mean, Alex turned it into an art, and you know, sometimes he could be supportive and sometimes he could twist the knife, but that was him. That Canadian goodwill allowed him to really kind of sell it through, because you genuinely believe that he was that guy. And so Jeopardy, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm raising my hand. You know, I'll go on one of them diets if you want to open auditions to people. You can use a different lens on me, but I'm ready. I've been ready.
You know, all they need is like a red filter, and they'll never know. But
you give me that Michael Jackson.
I like them. I like the cut of his jib. But first off, Jerome, welcome back. Well, welcome to YouTube, son, because I know you're one of our Sharpies over on Facebook, but the platform that shall not be named. So welcome to the YouTube channel. And I just want to weigh in on this. You know, you mentioned something a while back about, you know, somebody, I think it was Anthony, do they want to see us, you know, on top? Do they want to see us running the show, running the game, whatever we may be? Do they want to see us running things? And the answer is unequivocally no. But it made me think of something. This is going to be hella obscure. Stick with me, though. If you remember the remake movie of Annie that came out with Quvenzhané Wallace and Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx was Daddy Warbucks,
It was getting decent press. It was seeming like it was going to be okay. And they changed up some of the commercials, the trailers that came out for it. And there was a trailer that came out, and I remember seeing it, and it had Jamie Foxx, who was a germaphobe or whatever, and Cameron Diaz, beautiful white girl, is coming towards him, and he's rolling up the window. And she's like, "You think you better than me?" He goes, "Yes, I think I'm better than you, and get away from my car." Tank the movie. You got this black man saying, "Yes, I think I'm better than you, and get away from my car." The idea of it, the Black Cassidy of it all, just didn't sit right. All of a sudden, who do they think they are? And I don't think I appreciate this movie. And Annie's supposed to be white. I promise you, because I watched it. Because when I heard it, I wasn't even watching TV. When I heard that oh, I don't know how they're gonna like this, because I watch things like that. I pay attention to how things are marketed. I remember Lexus releasing a commercial during the Super Bowl, and it was Quivanjane's voice, and they were talking about when something happens, we strike. It's the only time I saw that video was during the Super Bowl. They pulled that ad so quick because you could tell it was a little black girl's voice, and did nobody like a little black girl talking about when this happens, we strike. It was too aggressive, and they don't like it. And so the idea of, even though it's not the leader of the free world, it's also another reason they didn't like Obama, because not because he was black, but because he was black and smart, and smarter than you, and smarter than you, and smarter than your ass over there, and hella smarter than you. They couldn't stand that they couldn't denigrate his intelligence. That's why they didn't mind, what's the dude's name? Herman
Alan
Cain.
Keyes, Alan West,
They could,
Herman Cain, all of them. Yeah.
all of them, Herschel Walker.
Fucking Jivas. Yeah.
Uncle
They cool with all of
Ruckus.
that.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do anything with Obama because he was smarter than them. And so to put LeVar in a position where, even though he's being fed the answers, we always thought on some level that Alex Trebek knew the answers, right?
Yeah.
And so to put him in a place where he's the smartest man on television.
Okay, so I do have to say, I watched an episode of Jeopardy being taped when one of my homeboys was actually on there. And it happened to be an episode where they had a call out to one of the episodes of Key and Peele. You know, the teacher who can't pronounce the names in the kids. So it was a question about Denise, and it was D nice. Mm-hmm. And he had to do a pickup on it because it said D/nice. And instead of saying it D nice, like he did, he was saying D-nice. And they had to do the pickup a couple of times, and I was just sitting in there, and I wanted you to say, it's D nice instead of Denise. It's D nice. That's what it is. Of course, I couldn't say anything because I'm just sitting in the audience. I did get to ask a question, though, because they had a question that day about Katherine Johnson, and she had just passed that day. And I was like, how did the writers get a Katherine Johnson question on this show when she literally died this morning? And they answered and said, sometimes we toss a question in so that it's topical. And I was like, okay. So I got to ask. I was answered by Alex Trebek to a question that I asked, but he did not know how to pronounce because he was not familiar with the sketch. He did not get the joke. He was absolutely confused by the joke. Wow. He just didn't get it. But I got to meet the man in person, and so that was awesome.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I never met him, but that's okay. I've met a few other people in my life.
Mm-hmm. My life.
They haven't decided anything about who's going to replace.
No, but Mayim Bialik is still going to hold the special host.
Blossom.
Blossom.
Now I got respect for her because she is actually.
She's smart.
Certified.
No, she's really smart. Yeah. So, and that'll be fine. She's going to do like the college tournament, like the Tournament of Champions, all the special sorts of things. Mm-hmm. Teachers Week and all of that. So that's what's that's going to be her little bailiwick, and that's great. Y'all ready to move on to? Yeah. So Ara is not going to be stepping in the name of anything except into a prison cell because his trial has started, and y'all,
Wait, can we just for a moment look at these drawings real quick?
These are the worst. What? What is that picture?
That artist is awful.
Upper right-hand corner. What is that?
I guess that's supposed to be Aura.
What kind of third grade foolishness is? I mean, the boxes aren't even the same size. Can I get you, if you're going to be doing, our boxes are the same size.
Yeah.
Can I get you to scratch your boxes so at least they kind of line up? Oh man, that looks like Nara. Mm-hmm. I just and honestly, you deserve everything that is coming to you,
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly.
It's tight on Aura. It's tight on.
Yeah, you deserve everything that is coming to you.
Yeah.
Because you are a scandalous, dirty person.
Y'all, you know the thing that continues to that has tripped me out for years, right? I think like all of us who remember when Aura came out in the early 90s with public announcement, you know, most of us, if you go back and find your old Quiet Storm, Slow Jam tapes, you know, and I always prided myself on making the great tapes, you know, pre-playlist. Aura was heavily featured on all of us, right?
Oh, for sure.
All of us.
For sure.
And at the moment that we realized that there was that little girl, you know,
little people got that vibe.
Yeah. And
like
we heard all of that, but seeing it, you know, for those of us who were unfortunate to actually see the tape, and I haven't messed with Kelly since. I mean, it because it wasn't even one of those, you know how some people they deflect with the whole, well, she looked 25, which is never an excuse either.
No.
But this child looked 11 or 12. And like I didn't get 5 seconds into it because once I saw her face, you know, at my office 20-something years ago, I was like, man, get this shit out the VCR. And it was a wrap. And so the thing that has continued to trip me out is how come some mad brother, dad, uncle hasn't ended this long time ago? Like that's the part that, you know, I know people are probably thinking, oh, Chuck's going to have some great legal analysis on this. No, what's coming is coming to him. And I think we all know that. But I just don't understand how some dad hasn't kicked his ass over the course of the last 30 some odd years. There's no way in hell that Tom, that he's in court if it's one of us. You get where I'm coming from? I mean, I'm probably still in prison if you get where I'm coming from.
Can we talk about just the fact, and ladies, I want you guys to get in on this because you are your fairer sex is the exclusive realm of victimhood on this. Where was Aaliyah's daddy? Not even all the rest, because I understand, you know, some kids are in circumstances and he paid them off or whatever and da. I even had somebody tell me back in the day that, you know, that was kind of a thing in Chicago that you know, ephebiophobes or ephebiophiles, which is for pubescent as opposed to prepubescent kids, that was kind of a thing where dudes in the hood in Chicago were chasing young girls, like, and that was just kind of a known thing to happen in those communities. But this is Aaliyah we're talking about.
Yeah.
Aaliyah already had a career.
Yeah.
And Aaliyah was a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you best believe, had her life not been tragically lost, she would be in the forefront of this Me Too R. Kelly foolishness, not foolishness. Oh, Sharon weighing in. She don't have her camera on. Okay, go ahead. Take it then. Take it. Go ahead.
Come on, Sharon.
I get a little angry when people talk this Monday morning quarterback brothers. So I got to come at y'all a little bit. We act like this is something new.
No, it ain't.
When has the Black community ever stood up for babies in any major way? I mean, just tell me once.
That's true.
Just name one.
About collectively, yeah.
I'm talking about collectively, but specifically in those cases, I don't want us to sit here and act elitist like child abuse and womanizing, childizing, girlizing is anything new.
I mean, it's people right now that are glad that we are in a pandemic, so they ain't got to go to their family reunion and hug their uncle that their parents keep making them hug.
That's true.
I mean, the majority of people who are sexually assaulted and raped are from within their family or somebody that they know. That's not, I can't accept the conversation the way it's being conducted, but it wasn't the same way we could talk about stop playing his music. We stopped that 20 years after we knew. So I'm gonna be quiet.
No,
because I'll get crunk on this conversation.
Well, Sharon, just as a basic rebuttal, your boy Chuck Hobbs is never one who talks about shit that he ain't done before. So when I say that if it happens to somebody I'm related to, I would fuck them up without going into statute of limitation stuff, I have fucked people up about stuff like this. So I just want you to know that.
No, and I appreciate that, because I'm not saying anything.
Yeah,
because I specifically said, why are we acting like it hasn't existed forever?
Totally agree with you.
Just so we're clear,
in terms of our
conversation. I'm still waiting on that one case. I'm still waiting on that one case. I'm still waiting on us to talk about one known and unknown person that was defended, where people are still riding for Cosby, and we weren't even talking about minors.
This is true.
Okay.
Are you, well, let me just.
And so all I'm saying is, I don't condone the lack of honesty about where we fall with molestation, sexual abuse, and rape crimes, specifically on Black women and Black girls amongst society.
I would say that the thing that the case, since you're asking for a particular one, that stands out to me is Tawana Brawley. Now, that did not end up the way. I'm just saying, you asked for a case. Okay. The entire country was up in that situation. The entire country, and people, from as highly placed as Al Sharpton, all the way down to every newspaper in the country, editorial boards, everybody. At the beginning of that circumstance, the outrage was almost universal. Now, the differentiating factor, especially in this particular circumstance, is that R. Kelly was probably the most high-profile celebrity outside of Cosby, because Cosby stuff, I don't think at the time this was going on and people were whispering about him being married to Aaliyah at 15 and all that other stuff. I don't think Cosby's business was out there as big as it is now. That was still Cosby show era, and I don't remember hearing anything about Bill Cosby when he was on TV on the Cosby Show. But I did hear that maybe he had been illegally and privately married to Aaliyah. And I can tell you right now, as soon as the first tape came out, which I don't even know how many years ago that was, but when that tape came out, it was a hard stop for me, and I had no problem with it because I don't like anybody's music that much. So it was just like, it's a cut. Literally to the point where while I was listening to the radio, if one of his songs came on, it was just like, let me just switch over to the other R&B station because it's probably not playing on that one. And, everybody knew about Keep It in the Closet, or in that whole closet thing that he did. And I was aware of it. And I was aware that it was some foolishness. But that also wasn't music that was playing anywhere. It was just, this was just this thing that he was creating. So I have legit not been a supporter ever since it came out. And Tawana Brawley isn't the only one.
And I specifically said within the Black community. And if that's the best you could pick, then that means we're in trouble.
No, but you said about Black girls.
Okay, I said within the Black community. I started with that.
Well, I mean, I guess I was considering her within the Black community.
Okay, Tom. I'm going to just say okay, because look at the case you picked. So I rest my case. Not only because of the condition she was found in. I'm not talking about condition. I'm talking about long withstanding, clear abuse. You have to be covered in feces. You have to have been raped by white men accusedly. Right. You have to be drugged. Maybe that. If that's the best we can do, and that's one, I guess that's what I asked for.
I just tried to give a response within the 2 minutes.
I don't know why you tried that, Tom.
That was bad. That was not. We're just giving our rebuttal.
That's fine. People weren't standing up for her. I understand. Apparently.
I mean,
but you would have thought, to me, the argument that white men did this to her would have meant it was more covered up. So the celebrity nature of this, we can, because the R. Kelly trial, nothing is going to end up good for him. Whatever he thought he was going to do, Twilight Zone and Bad Sketches are day one of what he is getting. It's not getting any better from here. No. And everybody who is coming up has the same story. and the controlling and the underage and the transporting across state lines and everything. All of it is bad, and it's going to end badly for him.
And
so
before we
go
go
ahead,
to the topic, though, Sharon, I did want to say, though, that I agree with you with your major premise, and which is in terms of how stuff has been swept under the rug in our community. You know, I was talking recently to a group of friends of mine, and this was after Bill was released. I guess that was back in May or whatever. And, you know, one of the things that's very interesting about us is, I'll take it back to 85. Back in 1985, I was tagging along with my mom's class. She took her class, I guess it was one of those English classes at FAMU, to go and watch The Color Purple when it was in the theaters with the first run. And I was 13 years old. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really mature enough for most of the subject matter. Not at that point, I wasn't. Because you can always tell when a kid isn't really mature enough, because some of the things that were not funny, I was laughing at, you know, but I think that was to masquerade whatever. But the one thing that I was rejecting at 13 until I got older and started relating to women and having a lot of women as friends and what have you, and dating women and whatever, I started to learn that there are far more women, Black women, white women, but specifically in our community, who have been sexually assaulted, raped, had screwed up comments coming to them, even from people in authority like pastors, deacons, and I'm talking about even kin folks of mine. And I've got
they mamas.
Yeah, exactly. Mama dating some dude come, and again, my eyes got open as a male as I got older to realize that and this is what frustrates me with brothers sometimes, is that, you know, you go on sites like the Griot, you go on the Root. Like, if you really want to get pissed off, go look at some of the Griot and Root coverage of R. Kelly's trial and watch not just the men. It's a lot of men that are going down saying all kind of bullshit, but it's a lot of women that are caping for R. Kelly too. And what it comes down to me that frustrates me is, like I tell the brothers, because I'm like, okay, sisters got to check sisters. But as a dude, I'm like, dudes, more than likely your mom, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, your baby mama, if you've got a daughter, more likely than not, most of those folks, your cousins, they've been sexually assaulted, or they've had somebody come at them sideways, and they don't feel comfortable talking to you because they're sitting there and listening to you on the phone with your boys, or they're reading your comments on Facebook or Instagram, and they're realizing, well, I sure better not tell him what happened to me when I was 12 or 13 years old, because he just doesn't believe women, think they're all lying. And so I agree with you from that standpoint, that we've got to, at some point in time, address the real elephant in the room, which is, how do the R. Kellys of the world get to fester and what have you, which is also the flip side of what I was saying, which is, why aren't there dads who are kicking ass? But again, if dad is sitting up on Griot saying, yeah, man, them chicks lying, they lying on Kelly, yeah, free Kelly, free Bill Cosby, then I might have answered my own question.
And predators know who to prey on.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not going to condemn anybody but the perpetrator from that perspective. But when we're looking at the sensitivity, why daddy isn't there, why wasn't somebody, it's because of the conditions of how we rate men, celebrity, and how we disregard, unless you find somebody in an alley raped, visibly smeared with feces on it, does it raise to the level of outrage?
Yeah. I mean, we sitting here acting like women haven't been sold into marriage at ages of 13 to 16 for the eternity of history. You know, like, that is how it was done for a long time. The minute you had a period, you could be sold into marriage to save a family's fortune.
This is true.
It's all through the Bible. And then he gave his daughter as a gift. I mean, that's just, what is the consent? What's the age of consent in Mississippi or Alabama right now? Isn't it 15? Age of where you can marry somebody?
I know North Carolina's tried to move theirs from 14 to 18, like recently, like not even a long time ago.
Yeah, some of those.
So you could get married at 14. Who was you kissing and courting at 13?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So, and this is statewide. across colors, right? So the idea that we should be protecting women is new, period.
Yeah.
Full stop. And the idea, like, where was Aaliyah's father? Where was the bank?
Mm-hmm.
Check there and see if he was there.
Got you. Which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, because I believe, aren't we coming up on the 20th anniversary of her passing? I believe that's like in the next couple days.
Oh my God, has it been 20 years? I know people were really excited about her music finally being on streaming platforms. So that's
I think it's coming up really soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. It's hard to imagine. She's been gone almost as long as she was alive,
which is crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to move on from this because there is nothing good that can come of thinking of him. I hope he rots. I hope he rots in a jail and no one ever comes to visit him. I hope that he ends up nothing but a memory of some dude that had a song that I can't recall the name of. I hope he is forgotten completely. I really wish that on him.
Yeah. It's the 25th of August. I just did a quick
25th of August.
20 years.
25th of August, 20 years. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to move on to something else. It's not better, but it's not R. Kelly.
Okay. It sure is not.
I wanted to talk about the nonsense that is going on in Afghanistan. And I wanted to start with a letter that I found when I was putting all this stuff together for today, because Tom let me put the stuff together for today. So forgive the eye chart that we're about to read, but I found this letter from the Vote Vets Twitter page. And I'm not reading it necessarily to sway anybody one way or another, but the letter moved me. And I wanted to use that to start this conversation. I'm gonna read it to you because it is small.
Okay.
Over 4,300 veterans backed President Biden on withdrawal, including 150 Afghanistan veterans. There is no clean way to exit another country's civil war, especially as one government falls and another takes power. The images out of Afghanistan are heartbreaking, especially for those of us who serve there. While we can and must learn from this, what is important now is that President Biden do all he can to get all Americans out safely and help tens of thousands of Afghans out, especially those who put their lives on the line for America. We have seen swift action to do just that and hope and expect we'll continue to see progress on that front. Every American should want to see that. What cannot happen is that the very same elites who pushed us into a 20-year war with no achievable military mission be given an outsized voice to comment on what's happening now. Let us be very clear. The people who got us into this mess have absolutely no right to say a word about how we get out of it.
None.
Our support for the president's decision to leave is as resolute as ever. It is the right thing to do, no matter how many people in the chattering class want to claim otherwise. And you can find the full letter at votevets.org/press releases. And so I know that we have a few people in our audience that are vets, military adjacent, may or may not want to comment. I'm not going to push anybody on it, but this has been a long time in the making.
Yeah.
And this isn't something that we just decided to do on a random ass Wednesday. There's actually, this is a grainy ass video because it's old. I'm pretty sure they converted this from VHS. If you look at this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm gonna take everybody out so we can see it because it's small, but trust me, when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. But listen to this.
Let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan, and we did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work. And it was President Reagan in partnership with the Congress, led by Democrats, who said, you know what, sounds like a pretty good idea. let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistani military, and let's go recruit these mujahideen, and that's great. Let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places, importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is, wasn't a bad investment to end the Soviet Union, but let's be careful what we sow because we will harvest. So we then left Pakistan. We said, okay, fine, you deal with the stingers that we've left all over your country. You deal with the mines that are along the border. And by the way, we don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, we're sanctioning you. So we stopped dealing with the Pakistani military and with ISI, and we now are making up for a lot of lost time.
We're building a relationship that just did not exist. I said in our last trip when you were with me that we had a huge trust deficit, in part because the United States had, to be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that Hillary had such dope production because them tracks was fire. But
You know what?
but the fundamental truth, and I'm waiting for Alvin to weigh on this because I think he probably has a perspective. But it was absolutely right. When the Soviets got beaten by the people in Afghanistan, American hubris was, well, of course the Soviets got beat because they don't have our freedom. And so when it was time for us, you know, bin Laden's getting training at this time. All these other fanatical groups are getting training. They're getting weapons. You know, they were convenient people for us to use for a while. And we thought that we were going to be able to just march in there and do whatever we want because our model of government is the envy of the world, as though we didn't piecemeal our stuff from other people's experiments throughout history.
Right.
I mean, we to hear us tell it 200 odd years ago was the first time anybody had ever heard the word democracy. Sorry, Greece. Sorry, Rome, Roman Senate.
Sorry, Native Americans, we stole your whole
Well,
thing.
I mean, Iroquois Confederation. I mean, you would have thought that Thomas Jefferson woke up on a Wednesday, stopped raping Sally Hemings, and said, I figured it out. Eureka! And just created something that was miraculous, never seen in the world before. Y'all, the Magna Carta still informs a lot. English common law still informs a lot of the foundational elements of our constitutional brand of government. And not to hear Ted Cruz tell it, not to hear Jim Jordan tell it. We were just magically unicorn dusted our democracy all over the world, and everybody wants to be us. Everybody except Norway, incidentally, who all but called us a shithole country this week. Yeah. They said, if you are a Norwegian citizen, stay out of the US of A because
underdeveloped. Wow.
Yeah, underdeveloped, y'all. And Norway specifically, that's the thing that's extra hilarious. Norway and other Norwegian Scandinavian countries, those were the countries that Trump said he wanted to end.
Well, of course he does,
because they super 6F and blonde and everything. That's who he thought would be great to bring into America.
But
and
isn't it interesting how quiet he's been over these last 2 weeks?
Oh, he's been extra quiet. And the GOP deleting their praise of his withdrawal notions, get us out of Afghanistan. That's right, Trump, bring our kids home. Oh, power vacuum. Oh, Kabul. Oh, president is 1,000 miles away. It's some villa. I mean, it's like, we really thought that it was Team America World Police, and we could do whatever we want with some anthemic music and some jets and Americans just running in and saving it.
I'm going to amend what you're saying.
Okay.
We really wanted our populace to believe that it was Team America World Police, and we could go off and do all these things, and there would be no repercussions. Somewhere behind the scenes, behind the curtain, there was some people like, there's gonna be some bullshit, right? Yeah, we give a fuck. We making money right now. Yeah, fuck these people. We don't care. We'll be dead by the time they figure it out. Apparently, Cheney's still alive, so that didn't work out the way he thought. But
worked for Rumsfeld, though.
It did work for Rumsfeld, though.
Because that whole
story hasn't even begun to be told.
Oh no! Oh, there's more.
There are people who are billionaires.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who is sitting in the state of shock, and they're gonna start jumping off buildings. It's like when the stock market crashed.
And this is
because before the pullout, before the pullout, they did a whole package of, I think it was the 5 surrounding counties of DC where the richest people in the country live. And how it's all defense contractors and and then all of a sudden, then we pulling out the reason, because Biden doesn't do well with playing the rosies. So he has to take the hit, but he wants to tell the whole story. He wants to tell. That's why he was so sloppy all last week. He wants to tell the whole story, and he's like, he know better than to say the previous administration, but all he's doing is executing something that was already put in place.
Yeah.
And now, how are you going to move tens of thousands of people to where? Because the minute you bring them to our border, then the right wing is going to be.
Well, and Tucker right on cue said exactly that, Sharon. He said exactly that.
Tom, they ain't mask. Mask in Afghanistan. Mask. The people hanging from planes with masks.
Did y'all see the people hanging off the side?
Did you see the people
trying to hold on?
Oh my God!
Is coronavirus exempt over there? I'm just trying to understand. I haven't seen
a lot of sunlight. The burning out.
True. It's all the sunlight. They got nothing but sunlight. Now I will tell you, the scenes of those people trying to hold on to the plane reminded me. That reminded me of the 9/11 people jumping out of the building.
It did.
It was the exact same amount of terror.
It was.
And tragedy.
And despair.
And and
I kept hoping that maybe those folks died midair before they hit the ground.
Oh my God.
Because I was just sitting there thinking, ooh, shit, that had to be painful.
It was, it was awful.
I was just prayerful that all those Air Force planes with them 300-400 people sitting in a cargo body landed safely. Yes.
Exactly.
I was like,
not a seatbelt in sight. Just strap it in.
Not a in sight.
No, you just sitting on the cold floor.
That's why we have international trips, but it don't be that deep. It's like.
Yeah, it was bad, y'all. It was bad.
And look, nobody is saying that it wasn't bad. And
no, it's horrific.
Biden is taking the hit, but y'all were screaming praise, shouting in the streets when Donald Trump said we've got to get our soldiers out of there, and we shouldn't be there, and America first, and make America great again. All of that, it was all cheers. And then when it went left, now all of a sudden Biden's been in office 6.5 months, y'all. Stop it.
And the exit is a clusterfuck. I'm not.
Oh no, it is absolutely.
I can't give that a pass.
Complete. No.
Anybody think I'm a hypocrite just riding on some craziness? It's a clusterfuck.
No,
but the truth behind the clusterfuck.
Right.
Wait till the truth. The truth is gonna be one of the.
Sharon, it's gonna be one of the biggest scandals of all time.
Sharon, I'm sitting here laughing
on that
because
clusterfuck came exactly out of a Trump tube.
I'm laughing at Sharon because that makes sense. Like when I was watching Biden the other day, and I was like, why does he seem so ornery? Why don't he just and then when Sharon just said what she said, which is he really wants to be like, you motherfuckers don't go to half.
Y'all know what bullshit I had to deal with. That's what he wanted to say.
Yeah, we need a Biden anger translator. That's what we need.
Those people's about to be slaughtered. What he was doing was, if we didn't move right now,
right,
we would be looking at a sea of blood.
right.
Yeah.
That's part of the truth.
I got you. And we've all been there, like in our professional careers, where it's like, I really want to say what I really want to say, but if I do,
you know that face is this face.
Yes.
This is like,
and let me give you one thing. This is my hypothesis, Joy. Because they said it was 300,000 trained Afghans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that there was only 75,000 in the Taliban. How about them 300,000 been infiltrated just like the insurrection? So when he said they just retreated, no, they retreated to the other side.
Right.
Because they did like the dudes at the Capitol just stepped aside and said, y'all go ahead through.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't no in 11 days. You know, that's just propaganda. That's for the media, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their president been gone because they know the difference. Ain't nobody gonna come up and hit them with no fire hose. They just cut necks off. They was like, they're like, they're not. So the Taliban was walking around like, doo-doo-doo. How many days did we get them? Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
You know, but the reason that people are so easily swayed is because we have ignored this. We have just been doing what we've been fed. You know, your boy, what's his name? Nance, he said it best.
The Taliban that existed in 2001 was not a Taliban that the United States felt it could live with. It was a sort of either you're in the world or we're in the world type of deal. What does a Taliban that America could live with look like?
Well, that's a very good question, because the problem is, this is, how can I put it and be delicate about it? Well, I won't be delicate.
Don't be delicate.
Americans are relatively culturally stupid. I'm just going to be honest with that. I worked in the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia in counterterrorism intelligence for well over 30 years. We don't learn the languages. We don't learn the cultures. We don't learn the people. One of the first things that I learned when I went on the ground is that the reason they respect the Taliban is because the Taliban are deeply religious people who live their lives the way they want it lived. And one of the greatest things I did for, an imam in Afghanistan was to read the Quran in Arabic and pray with them. And it opened doors that they would never open to another person. We don't understand foreign cultures. We walk in there, we're going to, boom, 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 boom. We're going to go in and we're going to create our own culture the way that the Russians tried to do, which is the first thing. If the Russians failed, we're going to fail. We cannot build a stable nation with a culture that never has a stable nation. You have to deal with it, tribally. And the Loya Jirga, getting them together is great. But it is the Loya Jirga and all of the tribal chiefs who cut deals secretly with the Taliban over the last couple of years. And the army didn't collapse. The army just went over to the Taliban because they want to go home. They want to herd goats, which is true, and they all want to get their sons married, which is an extremely important cultural touchstone over there. And for them, if the Taliban can give them that peace, they'll take it. If it can lessen some of the cultural corruption and religious using Sharia law, they'll take it, and they have.
This is the, frankly, honest conversation, brutally honest conversation about America's place in the world and empire that we need to talk about, need to have. Thank you both, Max Boot, Malcolm Nance, for joining us.
That brother just broke it all the way down. Ain't nothing else to say.
Malcolm ain't no joke.
Yeah,
okay?
He broke it down.
We're going to see a whole lot of Malcolm for the next couple of weeks. Malcolm ain't no joke.
Yeah, he broke it down.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Yeah, that was the realness right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And not only was it cultural blindness, I listened to a bunch of podcasts, and the government had invested in pockets of people to go in and do exactly what he was talking about. People who were fluent in Arabic, people who would sit down and drink tea and talk all the things and be invited into homes and help and assist and try to solve problems and carry packets of money so that people could get stuff taken care of. And other army brass, if there was a change in leadership, they were like, no, we ain't doing none of that. Don't nobody care about your Arabic. Go sit down somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so all of the qualified people who were actually making cultural inroads, not changing culture, but being welcomed as people who appreciated their culture were all marginalized and pushed to the side in favor of America, fuck yeah. And I mean, and there you have it. And now this is what we have. And thousands of people who we promised and we told we would take care of because you were vitally important. None of us speak Arabic, but you can speak all of the different dialects and everything. All these people who are working behind the scenes, you're not getting all those people out.
Yeah.
And the Taliban has strike forces going and hunting them down now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be their same neighbors who saw a soldier walk in there smiling and then walk out smiling. It's going to be them.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was with them Americans. Yep.
Yeah. That hut right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's her. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
I just love every few minutes when they say, we're just trying to get all the Americans out first. I watch this foolishness in loop, and I'm just like, all the subtleties. I'm like, this America first this time. In loop. I'm like, oh, okay. Because
first of all, we need to find some. We need to find some place because
we negotiate where we gonna take them because they can't come here.
No, they ain't gonna be coming here. It's gonna be shit.
I got enough. I'm trying to get my infrastructure bill passed.
Right. He's like, ain't no room. We ain't got no room.
You know what? Haiti?
Really?
Oh.
I'm saying shit.
Can you throw something at the screen? Somebody throw something at the screen.
If you paid Haiti $500 million.
Right, wait.
To take some refugees. You think Haiti wouldn't take that money?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Bad time.
Haiti needs a lot of help right now.
Yes. Why would you do that?
Because you pay them to accommodate them.
Where?
You gonna put them in the crack?
All that ground ain't cracked. I'm just listen.
Behave, black people. Oh my God.
It's not an ideal solution, but they are not coming here. You know they aren't coming here. So where they gonna go?
Yeah, Alvin just broke something down too in terms of the differences. And Tom, Sharon, Joy, y'all all have hit it just like Brother Nance did on that MSNBC show, which is people are like, oh my God, like why did they fight? Why did they just throw their guns down? Because they didn't want us there. In the first place. And so they're going back to their kind.
What they were comfortable with.
Yeah, what they're comfortable with. That's not hard to understand. It's not
why
hard
didn't
to
people,
understand.
Why didn't people stand up to the Ku Klux Klan?
Right. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I mean, if that's what you want, if that's what you're comfortable with,
what you fucking get.
Used to go kick y'all ass.
I'm gonna say something real ugly. They gonna have space in about 3 weeks.
Well,
what is going on?
Joy,
what is going on?
Hey, Evan out here spreading cold like a motherfucking weed whacker all over the damn place. Right? Out here like a fucking yo. Yeah. I could just hear the sprinkler behind him.
Yeah. and you know what, Joy, and y'all on that same vein.
Y'all know I know how to disappear, right?
And all of these college football cities with these big cathedrals too, because we're 2 weeks away from Doak Campbell in Tallahassee and Ben Hill and Gainesville.
That's my home state. I know
Texas Stadium out there in Austin. They're about to be filled up with hundreds of thousands of spreaders, and so it's going to be some dead folks this fall. So there will be places for people to replace the dearly departed.
I'm just saying. Like, not only wait, I'm gonna go back
to Houston still got the Katrina folks from 50 years ago.
Oh Jesus!
I thought they all traveled to Atlanta. I thought they migrated to Atlanta.
No,
they went to Houston. They went to Orlando. They went to Atlanta.
Then when they filled up Houston, then they started heading further east.
Okay.
So wait,
further down I-10.
Okay.
They did do that whole I-10 corridor. So, but not only did he run around shaking hands and taking pictures and coughing on all these God-fearing white people and giving them COVID because he had it in this picture. Here's the thing. I took this screenshot from a video. He rolled around this whole room posing, taking pictures with people.
But wait, look at the hair color of those attendees. Y'all see how silver that shit is? You were talking about
this is
funeral You're talking about obituaries for the next 4 weeks in that room.
I'm sorry,
it's all silver. It's all silver.
Yeah.
And you know they ain't vaccinated.
This is the obituary picture. Just put a list of names under the picture.
I mean,
I'm being very callous. I'm being evil. I mean, I'm gonna have to talk to God about this when I see him.
Yeah.
But the things that I'm saying, and I know that. But that's how angry I am. And then the fact that he doesn't want people to wear masks. I mean, after it came out that he was at this event, and then it came out the next day, oh, I have COVID. My bad.
Right. And then they started pimping they anecdote that's been in somebody's trunk since December.
Right. Yeah. Try this Regeneron that I happen to have on me.
You need to see the infomercials.
I taking it all. I'm so sorry.
Ron DeSatan been doing. Ron DeSatan's been doing infomercials all week.
That dude is awful.
And he set up stations with people falling out on the ground, giving them their toddies.
Girl.
Lord have mercy.
So then, not only that, but then the Texas Supreme Court was like,
"Thank you, Texas Supreme Court."
I love this.
Fuck you, Abbott.
They not screaming that loud enough.
Right.
All the right wing courts been screwing them over. I love it
because the right wing courts are like, "Yo, we gotta get reelected, and the people that are gonna reelect us need to be alive." So no on your mask ban. And then after all of this, after he rolls around like, spreading his, just like a freaking, automatic COVID spreader, and then comes back and says, we're going to ban masks so I can get your children too, because I want to kill you all. And the court says, no, we're not going to let you kill all of them, only most of them. Then the lieutenant governor of Texas tried to come through and blame the Black people.
Look at this man's face. Look at this man's face.
First of all, I was sure I thought that was Jeb Bush.
He looked like an evangelical preacher.
He does look like Jeb a little bit.
We're going to talk about the evangelicals in a minute. But how dare you? How motherfucking dare you try to blame this on Black people? First of all, we only make up 12% of the country.
Yeah, man.
Yo, unvaccinated. Let's look at something. And Chuck, thank you for pulling it. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at how the states are doing.
Stats.
There it is. Whoop, there it is.
You know what the red is.
These are the top bar. These are new cases. These are hospitalizations, and these are deaths per day. Trump states versus Biden states, red versus blue. Republican governor versus Democratic governor, red versus blue. How dare you tell me that it's because of Black people in your state that COVID is spreading? You know how COVID is spreading? Them assholes I mentioned earlier. They want to run around and not wear a mask and not be vaccinated and not be in their house, all tripled together. You might have some Black people that are reluctant to take the vaccine. And trust me, I've seen them, I've heard them, I've talked to people like that. I know they're out there, they're reluctant, but they are still trying to use the hand sanitizer, put on a mask, do what they can. They're not out here spitting on people, coughing on people, running around, where is that picture? Where is that North Carolina picture? Oh my God. Doing bullshit like this. And I see you in the back, little brother, and I'm going to talk to your mama when I find out who she is about why you out here drinking out this public ass water fountain with everybody else. As Jamel Hill said, this ain't the flex you think it is, bro. Everybody came and drank out this. You know what?
Wow.
This is what we're doing in 2021?
Not first sips, though. First sips. Listen, if you look at that graphic, I'm going to put the graphic back up. When you look at that graphic, please note that the blue states are lower than the national average in every instance. And look at deaths per day.
Double.
Biden state deaths per day are almost a third of the deaths per day in Trump states. Almost a third. And it's half the hospitalizations, half the new cases. And when you look at Republican governors, it tells a similar story. They are all on fire to talk about freedom, the freedom from breathing, the freedom from life, that is the ultimate consequence. But it just takes an idiot like the lieutenant governor of Texas to say some foolishness, and luckily he's getting a lot of pushback, and he ain't answering his phone right now because somebody was like, if you don't sit your effort ass down,
okay,
then you about to hear something, and there it is. I mean, just literally, there it is. Do you have the you're gonna do the mom clap back?
Yes. So now this is
mama clap back.
People in Republican states are slowly waking up like, you know what, I'm not with this. And all of this, send my child to school with no mask on, and we dare you. And if you try to put a mask on them, we're going to withhold their pay and blah, blah, blah. This one Tennessee mom was like, let me tell you something about this. So she was like, well, if y'all not enforcing masks, I'm going to challenge this damn dress code. So she wrote this letter to Chattanooga School District. Good evening. I am writing to request the parent opt-out form to opt out of the school dress code. As the parent of a daughter at East Hamilton, I find the school's dress code policy to be misogynistic and detrimental to the self-esteem of young women. Rather than shaming young women into covering their shoulders and other parts of their body, I believe we should empower female students to have agency over their own bodies and to wear clothing that is comfortable for them and contributes to their ability to enhance their learning experience. In light of the opt-out option related to the recently announced mask mandate, I can only assume that parents are now in a position to pick and choose the school policies to which their child should be subject. As someone who holds a strong commitment to my feminist ideals and my desire to raise my daughter to be a strong and empowered woman able to make choices for herself, I find that the school's dress code policy does not align with my belief system. I therefore intend to opt out of this policy and send my daughter to school in spaghetti straps, leggings, cutoffs, and anything else she feels comfortable wearing to school. Please make a note that she is not, under any circumstances, to be dress coded, as I have clearly communicated my decision to opt out of this policy. Thank you.
Well, there it is.
Well, and the
I love this
unwritten
woman.
PS is what you not gonna do,
right?
Is talk back to me.
Now that's a parent I can get with. I'm with that.
Them spaghetti straps ain't gonna kill nobody.
No,
little maskless asses running around here drinking out of water fountains and spitting on people with masks.
But I mean, it really does point out the ridiculousness of it all. I remember, if y'all do, I remember how we all had to, if you wore shorts to school when I was in school, you had to make sure that the shorts came down to the tip of your middle finger. And if it was anything shorter than that, they would send you home for that. Now you're telling me that you can opt out of a mask that protects people from freaking dying, but you still want to wear shorts below my knee? You can kiss my knee ass. How about that?
Joy, Chuck, the brilliance, however, of the lawsuit that's now upholding mask mandate is mask have been added to the dress code.
Dress codes. Yep.
So when I saw that, I was like, that was the one time I was like, I want to be in that courtroom.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, how freaking brilliant. Because Mama started that dress code foolishness about a week and a half ago, Joy. Next thing, and I was like, okay, let me see if this gonna go anywhere. Next thing I know, Abbott, you're screwed. No, Abbott, you're screwed because the mask technically is for non-communicable. I said, not y'all got it under the STD code, and but it's like the flu. They put it under health issues, part of the dress code. I was like, PPE people, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And what was the Supreme Court supposed to do to that? It's fact. That's actually called facts. So, and we think about, and they love talking about the cloth mask. They when I saw how packaged that was, Chuck, I was like, it's one of those moments. It's like being brain fucked. It's like being brain fucked, Joy. It's like somebody's massaging my head. I was like, oh, that's so freaking brilliant. You know,
because I'm telling you what, if you don't wear a mask, what you're gonna be wearing is one of these.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all do see attached to toe.
Attached to toe, yeah.
Attached to toe.
Anti-vaccination card.
Right. Wow.
Because you know what's killing me? I saw this. One of us. I told you we got so much to cover, but in the middle of a whole ass panorama, we got just.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how one day Ashton Kutcher just woke up and said, "You know what? I'm gonna tell everybody I don't bathe every day."
And see, this is what I was trying to figure out. Like, is that just something germane to him? Or
No.
Quietly, Naya Rivera.
It's germane to COVID.
Naya Rivera kicked this off months ago.
Oh, God.
Because she said something similar and got dragged for it, especially since she's not all the way 6F or whatever, wasn't all the way 6F. Rest in power. But she got dragged for a similar thing. And now it's just like in vogue. Matthew McConaughey.
I knew Matthew McConaughey was nasty. He's been nasty for
you
a
know
long
he's
time.
dusty.
Talk about I brush my teeth every day, but I don't bathe. Like, I mean, what? And I remember there was a thing going around a while back, like all of a sudden, all the white folks was like on Twitter saying they didn't wash their legs. Now I can understand if you have some soap, because there are some people who have like extremely sensitive skin and they don't use soap. They might wet their whole body and use like some particular like like a lotion-based material or something similar to like a black woman like co-wash her hair and not use shampoo. Fine. You got wet and you're dried off. Okay. But this whole, I'm just marinating in the juices from bed. Well, you nasty. Nasty.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Even Dionne Warwick was out here like,
no, wait, stop.
She was celebrating Britney. So what is it? This says, it's wonderful so many people have supported Britney. I've just heard the news. Wonderful things can happen when we stand together. Because Britney got released from her father, who was basically her captor. She goes, it's so things can happen when we stand together, but not too close. Because I just learned that some of you do not bathe.
Lord have mercy.
So no shade to Britney in particular, just that some of you,
Lord have mercy,
some of you do not bathe.
Do you know
Mother Dion said,
how to bathe? I can't say that.
Do you know the way to the shower?
How to bathe? Do you know the way to how to bathe?
My God.
Do. Burt Bacharach is turning over in his grave right now. I'm sorry, Burt. I had to. If you're even dead, Burt Bacharach may not be dead. But all I know is that
I'll be by your side forevermore.
What she said?
Not too close.
She said, because I have learned that some of you do not bathe. It took me out. I could barely breathe. And I can just imagine her holding the Virginia Slims in her hand. I've learned that some of you do not bathe. Oh my God.
Yo,
I had to put my glasses on to read that tweet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's nasty.
Oh my God.
Nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it before. There's one thing we haven't talked about before we run out of time. One of the things when we were talking about Afghanistan and we were talking about Trump and everything else, and we jumped over it because I got to talking about Abbott's crazy ass.
Yes. Roll it back.
Do y'all know that Trump's whole White House is full of spies? And they literally tried to sell us out.
Literal spies.
I'm not even exaggerating. Like sometimes be like, oh, it's a house full of spies. This is not hyperbole. I know I've thrown up a lot of things that are too small for you to read because some of you might be watching this on your phone. So I'm about to tell you a story in real time. And I'm going to read it. But if you want to see the whole thing, I suggest you go out to Twitter and read this thread for yourself. Tom, I think you put this in our chat. When I tell you it was too much for us to follow, it was this is terrifying.
Yeah, this is absolutely. And with your indulgence, Joy, I'm gonna put my glasses on because I want to start this off because my God. Okay, so first of all, the man was impeached twice, and we were hitting Russian collusion. That was just Russian collusion about trying to get him elected. But follow this, Eric Garland. If you're not up to speed, this is way bigger than the headline looks. Top Westinghouse nuclear executive charged with conspiracy and fraud. Check this out. New documents show corporate and foreign interests seek to influence U.S. nuclear policy. Okay, so first of all, nuclear policy. Nuclear. We have this whole thing, non-proliferation agreements, everything. Nuclear policy. Okay, so here we go. Corporate and foreign interests behind the White House push to transfer U.S. nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia. Overall, the new documents obtained by the committee reveal that with regard to Saudi Arabia, the Trump administration has virtually obliterated the lines normally separating government policymaking from corporate and foreign interests. The documents show the administration's willingness to let private parties with close ties to the president wield outsized influence over U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia. These new documents raise serious questions about whether the White House is willing to place the potential profits of the president's friends above the national security of the American people and the universal objective of preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. We're not done. IP3 International, a private company that assembled a consortium of U.S. companies seeking to build nuclear plants in Saudi Arabia, repeatedly pressed the Trump administration not to require Saudi Arabia to commit to the gold standard in any 123 agreements, complaining that it would lock them out of lucrative nuclear contracts with the Saudis. Basically, we have rules in place when you're talking about nuclear anything, because nuclear power plants give you infrastructure to enrich nuclear material, and nuclear material can become fissile material, and fissile material can be used in weapons. We don't want weapons in the Middle East. And not just because the book of Revelation says that the Antichrist is going to rise from there. But instead, Trump, remember when Trump said, I'm going to get $750 billion. I'm going to get $250 million from the Saudis. I'm going to get $250 million from the Chinese. I'm going to get $250 million. And it's all this. We're going to use all that for infrastructure. All this money, all these promises he was making. And Barack, or Barak, I mean, he's from Lebanon, so Barack is probably how his name is pronounced. The other Barack, not good Barack, not 60th birthday Barack. Tom Barack is a guy who was trying to put together with Jared Kushner a real estate consortium, an investing house that was going to take this money and turn it into $8 trillion in assets. In this whole gambit in the Middle East, not the least of which was trying to literally strong arm the Qatari government, or the government of Qatar, to do some things that the Kushners wanted. The Kushners wanted the Qatar government to bail out their horrible investment in 666 Park Place. First of all, or Fifth Avenue, 666 Fifth Avenue. Why are you buying a building whose address is 666 anything?
Because you the goddamn.
And why are you paying double market value for 666 anything? And it was such a failure that Kushner had to go on bended knee seeking investment money, and they thought they had a sweet deal with the government of Qatar, an important figure in the government of Qatar. He said, nah, I'm looking at these financials, I can't do it. And so they flipped the script and went over to Saudi Arabia and Yemen and all these other people and started turning the screws. The UAE turned the screws and embargoed Qatar and hurt them financially, so much so that in retrospect, when they finally agreed to play ball, they literally said, we probably should have just written a check, because the $1.8 billion, that's like nothing compared to the impact on our economy. We probably should have just knuckled under when that idiot told us to. We probably should have just done it. And that's not even the worst. Nuclear technology in the Middle East, right next to the country that just got overrun by the Taliban.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. If it'll make me
That's
some
a great idea.
Yeah.
That's
the
what this
important thing is,
president was
do
doing.
I profit from it? Because if I profit from it, it's a
If
good
I
idea.
profit from it, it's okay. I'm telling you, America first.
I mean, you know, what is this? Chasing money, love of money is the root of all evil. 666. It's all right there.
It's
the
there.
Devil.
And this is what you need to go look. We're not going to spend because it's too much to ingest. Just understand Eric Garland and this Department of Justice, that's an official DOJ seal.
Justice.gov.
Justice.gov. You can read their whole report. It's better than trying to read it in tweets because it's too many tweets.
Yeah.
This is a huge scandal. This is the new scandal. This isn't even Trump being in trouble over January 6th. This is
January 6th look like a bar fight.
Whole different level. Whole different level. And I didn't want to deviate because we're off this. People talk, we said it before, the site that shall not be named, people talk about, well, it's free. Let me tell you something about free. When it costs us $50 billion to clean up the Capitol massacre, where do you think that money's coming from?
Mm-hmm.
All those people who were riled up on the Book of Faces and on Twitter and on Parler and on Telegram, all those free, covered by Section 230, all those free sites ended up costing us $50 million in damages in the Capitol to clean up the mess of what those people riled up and did.
Right. But you don't want your tax dollars. But you don't want your tax dollars to go to helping the poor or people on welfare. Okay.
That's your tax dollars. That's coming out of you.
Okay.
And if it's not coming out of you, it's coming out of China, and we got to pay interest on it. So just be aware.
The same people that don't want the monuments taken down, but they can destroy the U.S. Capitol.
They can destroy the U.S. Capitol, but Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with and beating cops with the Trump flag. Patriots. Got it. Yep.
I can't stand it.
Got it. Okay.
You know, this was a lot of wine. I've been drinking this wine for an hour and a half.
And I wish I had that glass in my hand.
This is a big glass. This is a brandy snifter of wine, and this was the tactical error. I did it for show, but I poured it.
And it's half a bottle of wine.
I'm gonna finish it, but I'm probably gonna finish it off air because this is a lot.
That's a lot of wine. That is a lot of wine.
Take it to the head.
Speaking of taking it to the head, sorry, OnlyFans fans, because OnlyFans, as of October, now they've given themselves a little breathing room so that maybe if the tides turn, they can start doing porn again. But OnlyFans says they are going to restrict pornographic material. Not all of it. You can still do, I guess, tasteful, artful nudes, I guess.
Wait,
but
just in case you're reading this from your phone, I'm going to read it to you.
You read it. You read it, Joy.
Sydney Leather says, the evangelical women trying to make OnlyFans disappear don't realize if I lose that income, I'll start fucking their husbands for money again. And then she replies to herself, I'm looking at you, Representative Ann Wagner.
Woo!
Ow!
Name dropping the wives of customers.
If that ain't a blast. If that ain't putting your business on blast. I was literally like,
yeah.
When I tell you I read that, I made a mistake of reading that in the middle of a meeting. I was off camera, but I wasn't on mute.
Yeah. Ooh-wee.
And I was sitting here, I was like, woo! And somebody's like, who was that?
Yeah.
It was a mistake. Don't do that.
It's rough out here, people.
Listen. In COVID, that's how you should be consuming your nastiness. On a screen. Don't be in these streets. Go on ahead and get your little fantasy. Let them.
Three U.S. senators popped up with COVID. Governor Abbott popped up with COVID. I was like, ain't nobody asking where they got it from.
Right? Because rolling through them streets. So you don't
ain't no COVID on OnlyFans though.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the performers get it. And I'm betting the performers on OnlyFans get tested for everything.
Well, the thing is, OnlyFans, you don't gotta touch nobody. You in your house with a camera.
She's talking about the voyeurs, Tom.
Oh, you're just no. It's some. I have heard.
I don't think
there's some OnlyFans content that is not solo. I have heard.
Really?
There's OnlyFans. Is
that right?
That's what I understand.
You can see the posts on Twitter. You can see the trailers on Twitter. I'm like, after y'all show all of that on Twitter, who the hell got to go in and pay? How much y'all need?
Right. Keep it watching.
Yeah,
we're 50. We all need to watch it for 2 hours and shit. I know. All you gotta do is press loop. Shit.
It's like a vine. It just keeps going. Wow, what stamina!
We're officially over 50 with that comment.
Yeah.
Tom said, "What stamina?"
Hilarious.
Oh my God.
I got one more thing. I want to end on. You can call it a high note or a low note.
You got two things.
What did I miss?
We got worst nightmare, and we got COVID. COVID out here winning.
Oh yes. So we're gonna do COVID out here winning first.
Okay. Stop cam. Don't take us out of the feed. Everybody, stop cam.
Okay.
Well, COVID, looks like we win.
Have you met my variant? Delta. Hey.
I quit.
Dude, we have to fight him. What are we, the Avengers?
We're vaccines.
Vaccines assemble. Clowns. This is our job. My job was to make safe sunscreen, too.
You make sunscreen.
Not safely.
You can get sued for that.
Please, I'm already involved in more suits than a men's warehouse. Refill? Well, this sucks.
I thought that was just the cutest. Whoops.
Not they dressed up Moderna like a Morehouse man. That was so cute. Hey, Chuck, you got to press stop cam. I forgot to also.
Hey, there it is.
I have to say that actor kind of looked like my Sans Tony Cromer. Shout out Tony Cromer.
Oh my God.
But this is what's happening. This is what COVID is. And the variant was all skeevy and R. Kelly-ish. I was like...
You know what's funny to me is I didn't know that Johnson was getting sued over sunscreen. He's like, they was making unsafe sunscreen. You make sunscreen, not safely. Like what?
I had no idea.
J&J getting sued over talcum powder that our mamas used to use. They got they have tons of suits.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm glad at the end of the day that I did not get the Johnson vaccine. No shade to anybody that did. It's better than nothing. But
single shot, that's sketch.
I mean, it's better than nothing. I would still take that over nothing.
Absolutely.
Go get your booster from somewhere else, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't be getting the Johnson booster.
Yo, apparently we need to know about this dude. He got a Delta Plus and a Gamma video.
Oh damn! Okay.
Talcum powder video. Yo, he's on the come up. So hats off to that dude. You know, I'm always glad to see creatives doing their thing out here in the world.
Yeah, you know, you probably didn't even think about this, but if you think back, everything used to be talcum powder, and then all of a sudden, at some point, when it turned into cornstarch, it just became baby powder. Mm. When they stopped with the cancer, it went to cornstarch. All of a sudden, it was baby powder and not talcum powder.
Yeah,
go see if you can find talcum powder on a shelf that's in this country. There's probably some talcum powder.
Oh, it's still underneath a whole lot of black women's vanity in their bathrooms.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but I'm saying on store shelves.
Oh no, they're gone.
You ain't gonna find no talc in store shelves no more.
That class action suit is as big as cigarettes.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
Now the last thing I want to show. I first saw this.
This is a damn shame.
When I first saw this, I'm not even going to give it, I'm going to take all of y'all out. I'm not even going to explain what you're about to see. I'm just going to play it and let you just see it.
As a man, this is your worst case scenario.
First of all, why are you in that? Bam!
As a man, you want to be stronger. You want to be very much stronger. You want to be able to carry your girl through thick and thin and dry and wet. Okay, problem here, slipped up and now you're downriver. Okay, you know, trying to grab her. Everybody's watching. This is already the worst case scenario. You're embarrassed because you can't hold your girl up. And everybody's watching, laughing, and recording. She's fighting you. You know, you're fighting the devil, fighting police. And then the nightmare gets worse. Stronger man, do-rag, tank top, picks her up with ease. Now you walking. This is not ideal. Okay, I don't know what the other paths were available. But under no circumstances do you want to lose your control, fall, drop, hurt, swim, fall, slosh, down dirty water, people everywhere. Now she's pissed off. She's pushing you and it's working. And then a very much stronger gentleman picks her up with ease. Apparently, this is the picture of the gentleman who picked her up with ease, allegedly. The man's a third of the size of the Range Rover. Okay, Savage Fenty, model strength, bearded.
So, first of all, can I just say, I feel bad for the inevitable Giardia infections, which both of them are inevitably going to be suffering from, because there's no way you don't go swallowing mouthfuls of flood water and not be in the bathroom for a week and a half at least. But flash floods don't start that quick. Why in the hell were you even there watching all of that water rush? It's cars that have been overrun by the water. Why were you even trying to cross the water? You know what you could do? You could go find you a bridge, or you can walk back to the other side and chill and drink and wait until that water goes down a little bit, because you literally were rolling down the river.
But why she looked like she was coming from the club?
It did look like they were coming from a club. You're at the club during a torrential downpour?
That's what I don't understand.
In COVID?
Who knows? So some more things have come to light since that video was released. My understanding is, from what I understand, like, that may not have been a guy that was carrying her across. Could have been a stud, from what I understand. It wasn't necessarily DC. It may have been in Virginia, Northern Virginia as well. And we don't know why they decided to cross that way. Because clearly, if you look, it was a lot more shallow on the other end.
On the other side.
There was a whole discussion across, like the first time it got posted. Some people saying the girl was wrong for trying to fight. Why did she make that person, male, female, we don't know, carry her across? But some people were like, yo, if you've ever been, you know, the saying when it said, let's just cross down there, and somebody decided they want to try to flex and carry you right here, that's probably why she was fighting him at the end. Like, I told your stupid ass you couldn't carry me. Now you got me out here wet. I can't take this dress back to Ross no more because it's soaking wet. My good yucky hair is messed up. Now I'm out here looking stupid. And then here comes swole.com, who just pick her up.
My hero.
He got,
you know what?
He did that later on. I'm telling you that right now.
did-
Try to
look-
save a girl life. See if she don't give you something. It works every time.
He did not
She got
look
some ticks out her hair.
as big in the video as he looked standing next to that Range Rover. I thought he was like, I thought he was a bigger dude, but I didn't know he was that big. That's a big dude.
That was the big dude.
That's a big dude.
And she had, I don't know if you couldn't see it because of the way we had to re-show it, but her whole ass was out because that dress had ridden up, and she had on a thong underneath it. Which I mean, to be fair, with the type of dress she had on, you're gonna wear a thong.
You had to wear a thong,
right?
Clearly,
but so she had a thong on. I'm sure. I'm
thong
sure.
Required.
But so it was all up. So it's just nothing but yellow moons out the entire night. So now she is basically naked from the waist down with her legs wrapped around this dude holding on for mostly dear life at this point. And then the other person just holding on. That's just a fail. That's just a fail all the way around.
That was awful. And to have it commemorated, first of all, it wasn't, it's more videos out there.
It is.
Because that wasn't just one person shouting. It was a bunch of people shouting. Everybody and their mama got a cell phone these days. It's
because the minute they stepped into the water, they got the video started halfway through. The minute they stepped into the water, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What were they thinking? I don't know, but I mean, I appreciate it because it gave me the laugh I needed in the middle of that meeting that I was sitting in. I feel bad for my people sometimes, but I appreciate them lifting my spirits, even if it's in the wrong way. Just thank you for giving me something to laugh at in the middle of my day. There's something else. If you get a chance, I didn't get a chance to pull the video because I didn't think of it till just now. But if you get a chance, Google Ghetto Olympics and see what you find. If you're lucky, you will find a collection of videos of a neighborhood of our people.
Oh, I see this.
Stacking milk crates in a pyramid and trying to see who can make it to the top and make it back down. And
this is all the way in 2012?
And I'm going to spoil it for you. Nobody. It's awesome. It's
Why
awesome.
is this commentator sitting in front of a radiator that's half painted?
I don't know. If you can pull it and play it, that'll be great. But I just, sometimes, when you're bored, you come up with stuff to do. And our creativity is ratchetly boundless. And it makes me happy sometimes. Chuck.
Yeah.
What you doing, Chuck?
That antihistamine on me. I ain't gonna even lie, your boy about to be like dead to the world. I love y'all.
I'm sorry, Chuck. We've been monopolizing the conversation.
No, it's okay. I love the conversation, but
he went off camera.
Yeah,
he went off camera for
voice
a second.
got me.
You look like Chuck. You had that 8 a.m. English class.
Right.
Oh,
right.
On Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Monday, bad idea.
Right. Lord have mercy. Mm-hmm.
No, you got class. You sitting there. That's a freshman year choice.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get this extra class. English is easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you cut that Sunday night frat house party.
Yeah, you want 5 people in the class too.
And you'd be like at 10
morning.
o'clock in the morning, like, huh?
Yeah, right. Right.
You ever wake up real hard and kick the desk in front of you and everybody know you're asleep?
Right. Or you snore like me, Joy. Snores. Oh. Yeah, teachers like Mr. Hobbs, like, hey, I'm here. What's up?
Church now. That's right. Yeah, Chuck was not agreeing with Passa. Chuck was agreeing with his pillow. Yeah. I'd like to, before we sign off, I'd like to give a shout out to all of our HBCU students, especially freshmen who are attending for the first time. I have one of my line brothers has checked in his son at FAMU. We got a whole bunch of new dorms, y'all, at FAMU. And another one of my good chapter brothers out here, his daughter is a first-year Spelmanite, Joy.
Yay, Spelman in the house. Thy name we praise.
And so they moved her into her little situation. And it's that time of year that people are going back and they're beginning their journeys. There are a lot of people who were freshmen last year who never got to step on their campus because everything in a lot of schools was distance learning. And so we've got double the new bodies on campus who are just beginning. And so thanks to Mackenzie Scott, a lot of them campuses look a little more shinier this fall. And it's just a blessing that in the middle of everything that we're dealing with, life has been able to push forward and move on. And as long as people are taking the right precautions and being safe and being responsible, then eventually there will be some light at the end of this tunnel.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. And don't be a member of a church where 9 people died before the pastor decided he needed to preach the word and create a COVID vaccination center in his church. Don't be that person. Just like the pastor said, God created the doctors who figured out the vaccines.
Exactly.
Everything ain't gonna be a loaves and fishes and Pfizer situation where it's got to be a literal miracle.
If God is all powerful, you think he doesn't have the power to delegate?
Right.
That's it.
Ain't gonna be no worldwide vaccination instantly while you sleep. Go and get the shot.
Right.
Just go and get the shot. It ain't that deep, y'all.
Right.
Just go get it.
I think Debbie said it best. Hope everyone enjoys a great, safe weekend.
That's right.
That is our cue to get off the air.
Oh, and also don't lose your minds over Labor Day for nothing.
No.
We're gonna have to say that next week too, but don't lose your minds over Labor Day for nothing. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Are
we off on September 3rd?
That's the Friday of Labor Day weekend?
Yes.
What y'all think, Sharpies? Actually, Sharon's like, nah, don't ask the Sharpies. Let's decide.
Just put it, well, we can announce it next week.
Yeah, we can figure it out. Don't let your Labor Day induce labored breathing. How about that?
Yes. Ooh. I very much like that.
How about
I very
that?
much like that.
And with that, this is all I got to say to y'all good people.
Yeah, you know what time it is. Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with steel sharpened steel after dark.